Hebrews is a pretty bloody book. It's definitely PG-13 because there's some intense imagery. It's violent stuff. And Hebrews chapter 9, that's where we're at today. It talks a lot about sacrifice, and it talks about killing goats and cows, and how in the Old Testament they attempted to deal with their sin. They would have to offer sacrifices. In verse 22 it says this: without the shedding of blood, sin cannot be forgiven. In order for something to live, something had to die. All right? So they would offer these sacrifices. But it's just kind of they were sketchy sacrifices because they were just a real fuzzy picture of the spiritual reality. And here's the reality. Sin is an extremely big deal. Sin's a big deal. It separates us from the Holy One. And forgiveness can only be offered at the cost of life. Back then they would offer these imperfect, temporary sacrifices, but they would have to rinse and repeat. They would get clean, and then they'd get dirty again. And they'd have to start the whole process again, and they'd have to find another goat. And so it wasn't a lasting thing. It was just this temporary fix, and it didn't really solve the problem because it was over and over, rinse and repeat, do it again, just like a shampoo bottle, rinse and repeat, get clean, get dirty, get clean again, get dirty, get clean again. And it was this non-stop vicious cycle. Now, because goats and cows didn't really provide the solution, only God, who is totally without sin, he's totally sin-free, could step in and provide the ultimate sacrifice. Only God, who is sin-free, could step up and take care of the sin problem. Only him could do the eternal thing, the lasting thing, the thing that wouldn't have to be rinsed and repeated forever and ever. Okay? And for us to live, God had to die. That's the reality. So Jesus steps up and he takes care of business forever. He is the ultimate sacrifice. He is the eternal sacrifice. He is the one that takes care of business, the sin problem. He takes care of it. In verses 26 through 28, it says this: he has appeared once now at the end of the age to put away sin forever by offering himself as a sacrifice. Just as mortals are appointed to die once and then to experience a judgment, so the Anointed One, our liberating King, was offered once in death to bear the sins of many, and will appear a second time, not to deal again with sin, but to rescue those who eagerly wait his return. Okay? We are appointed, one part of this, it talks about us as mortals. We're appointed to die once. There's no reincarnation. We're not going to get recycled one day. This is it. This is your life. You got one shot. All you got. Take it now. Lose yourself in what God has done. Surrender to the sacrifice. Jesus came, he took care of it. He was the ultimate sacrifice. He was the eternal sacrifice. He's the lasting sacrifice. Okay? No other sacrifice has to be paid. He took care of sin. We just have to surrender to the sacrifice. We have to lose ourselves in what Jesus has done. And soon Jesus is going to return. He's going to appear a second time, this says. And he's not coming back as a victim. He's coming back as a victor. He's going to come back to rescue those who have surrendered to the sacrifice. He's coming back as a king, not a kid in a manger scene. So God bless you guys. And just surrender yourself to the sacrifice today and realize just how much God must love you in order to step up and do what he did for you. God bless you. Giddy up.